so many cases reported in New York, which is just a few hundred miles from the Rhode Island border. Governor Raimondo is taking some steps to check on New Yorkers who could be headed into the Ocean State. Eyewitness News reporter Kate Walsh joining us now with the details of the governor's plan. Kate?
Well, Danielle, Governor Raimondo said she realizes this is an extreme measure, but she signed an executive order yesterday, and so effective right now, anyone and everyone traveling from New York into Rhode Island should be expected to be stopped by officials and then asked to quarantine for 2 weeks. This order also applies to anyone who has been to New York in the past 14 days at all. And the governor said it's consistent with the Trump administration's guidelines and CDC guidelines. So state police will be flagging down cars with New York State license plates. The National Guard will be taking information from anyone coming here by train or bus from New York. They'll be posted at the 2 Amtrak stations and at Peter Pan and Greyhound bus stops.
We will ask the drivers where they are going, and if they are passing through Rhode Island, we will send them on their way. If someone with a New York registration is coming to stay in Rhode Island, whether they are renting a home, own a home, or staying with family or friends, we will ask them for their identification and Rhode Island address.
But the ACLU of Rhode Island is taking issue with this policy, saying in part, quote, the ACLU recognizes that strong measures are needed to address the public health crisis we are witnessing, but giving the state police the power to stop any New York registered cars that are merely traveling through the state is a blunderbuss approach that cannot be justified in light of its substantial impact on civil liberties. Now, not every single vehicle is going to be stopped if it's traveling through Rhode Island and may have New York license plates. I'll explain that aspect of this executive order in the next half hour. Live in the control room, I'm Kate Walsh, Eyewitness News.
New York City, as we've been telling you, is the epicenter of the virus here in the United States. More than half of the nation's cases are in New York. It's only about 180 miles away from Providence, so Governor Raimondo has decided to enact some new measures, hoping to keep Rhode Islanders safe. Eyewitness News reporter Kate Walsh is in our control room with those details.
Well, effective immediately, the expectation is any New York driver coming into Rhode Island should be expected to be pulled over by Rhode Island State Police. And the governor is asking, or mandating actually, everyone who has traveled to New York in the past 14 days to self-quarantine for the next 2 weeks, and anyone coming from New York right now or in the foreseeable future should also do the same.
In light of the fact that New York City is a hotspot, their infection rate is skyrocketing, and they are so close to Rhode Island, in my judgment, this is the most prudent course of action.
National Guard will be stationed inside the 2 Amtrak stations and at all Peter Pan and Greyhound bus stops. But there is an exception.
We are not stopping any commercial vehicles or tractor-trailer trucks. We realize these tractor-trailers are vital to interstate commerce, and that they will be carrying not only food, but PPE and also medicine.
So what happens when people do get pulled over by state police if they have a New York license plate? Well, state police say they'll be getting their identification and then finding out where they're going. Are they going to their own house in Rhode Island, or staying with a friend, or renting a house? And the governor is assuring people that all of this information will only be used for public health concerns in contact tracing and won't be used for any immigration or other state purposes. Live in the control room, I'm Kate Walsh, Eyewitness News.